Support comes from
Entergy provides much more than power. We support science and engineering at local schools to build a brighter path to better jobs and help prepare the next generation. Because together, we power life. Entergy.
additional support provided by the Fred B. and Ruth B. Ziegler Foundation and the Ziegler Art Museum located in Jennings City Hall. The museum focuses on emerging Louisiana artists and is an historical and cultural center for Southwest Louisiana. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, with support from viewers like you.
We don't really have races that have gotten a lot of attention so far.
Will the lack of attention mean low turnout at the polls?
Every year we try to bring either a documentary or something that really highlights what it means to be Irish.
A film festival set to celebrate 10 years.
I love my mom so much and we have such an amazing bond.
The essence of the African American woman. Hi everyone, I'm Andre Morrow. Much more on those stories in a moment on this week's edition of SWI. But right now, approval of a third extension by Governor John Bel Edwards of temporary housing for survivors of the August 2016 flood. FEMA signing off on more time and low rent for mobile housing units, this through January 15th of 2019. And now we'll look at some of the week's other headlines. New recommendations to revise and update policies regarding LSU's Greek life hope to become the new normal on campus. That from a statement by President F. King Alexander after a task force committee suggested ways to initiate a culture shift among Greeks and other student organizations at LSU. The group was created after the hazing death of freshman Max Groover last fall. Alexander's statement also says this is not the end of the process, but the beginning. Louisiana no longer has the highest sales tax rate in the nation, but only by a hair. That's according to analysis from the Tax Foundation, a conservative think tank. The study combines state and local rates for an average across the state. Tennessee now exceeds Louisiana's average rate, but only by 0.1%. Louisiana held the distinction due to the temporary 1-cent sales tax passed in 2016. Lawmakers dropped that rate by a little over 0.5 cents to solve the fiscal cliff. Governor John Bel Edwards announced $60 million in new coastal projects to be built and paid for with money from the Deepwater Horizon oil spill settlement. This money will cover the complete cost of the engineering, design, and construction of 23 projects along the coast. This pot of money must be spent on recreational projects, which include constructing campsites, improving boat accesses, and building an educational and cultural venue. The projects are in 9 coastal parishes, from the towns of Grand Isle to Sycamore Point, with another one enhancing artificial reef sites. Governor Edwards and Attorney General Jeff Landry traded barbs over the recent extension of a court order keeping the state from carrying out any death sentences. Landry says his office won't defend state corrections against a lawsuit challenging its lethal injection protocols. Landry wrote to the governor accusing him of being a worse obstacle to carrying out executions than a national drug shortage for lethal injections. Edwards accused Landry of political grandstanding. The federal court's order has blocked the state from ending a death row inmate's life since 2014. The last execution was in 2010. Congressman Ralph Abraham earned a spot on the committee to set American ag policy for the next 5 years. It will reconcile the differences in the Senate and House versions of the 2018 Farm Bill. The bill includes policies that regulate both agriculture and the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Abraham is close to both of the issues. His daughter and son-in-law operate the family's farm in northeastern Louisiana. Agriculture has an annual $13 billion economic impact in the state. Well, qualifying began this week for state elections, which happened November 6th. This year, though, there's no real big race to grab our attention. Louisiana's election cycle will be relatively quiet, and that could lead to a low voter turnout. The first hours of qualifying saw hopefuls for Secretary of State, U.S. House of Representatives, Louisiana Supreme Court, and Public Service Commission filling out required paperwork and paying fees. Democrat Renee Free and Republican A.G. Crow were the first to qualify for the Secretary of State's race. On every ballot across Louisiana will be the replacement for Tom Shedler. He resigned a few months ago, haunted by allegations that he sexually harassed an employee. 5 candidates have announced their intentions to run for the office. Free says she's the only one with experience inside the office, having worked as first assistant to Secretary of State's Fox McKithen and Al Ader.
I've dedicated my entire professional career preparing for this job. We need to restore the public's trust in this office, and I think leading by example is a good thing, being out in the public. I've worked with lots of these people in this office already. They know who I am, they know how I operate, they know that I'm fair, and I wouldn't ask them to do something that I wouldn't be willing to do myself. I'm that kind of person.
Former State Senator Crow says his 16 years in the legislature and private business gives him an understanding of how the office works. And he says this.
What's different about me as opposed to my opponents? Well, first off, we're going to manage this campaign in a way that's sort of unique, and that it's going to be based on the biblical principles of what Ephesians 4:29 says, and that is exalt our Lord in all that we say and do every day. And number 2, to pray for our opponents and uplift our opponents, and most importantly, not to say anything negative about our opponents.
Among those following the qualifiers, reporters from statewide media outlets rushing to get their stories out online.
Not that many people pay much attention to what's going on in the Secretary of State's office. I don't think until Tom Shedler's scandal that many people could have called his name.
The Secretary of State is our only statewide election for this cycle, and it doesn't have the same juice, obviously, as a gubernatorial race or a U.S. Senate race, but it is, it's a very important office. This office is in charge of our elections integrity, which has come under fire from the Russians and on all other fronts, and is also the keeper of the state archives among other duties. So it's a very important race.
Unlike other states that have very high profile congressional races and U.S. Senate races and statewide elections, we don't really have races that have gotten a lot of attention so far. All 6 U.S. House members are running for re-election, and most of them are seen as pretty safe in those re-election bids. And then there's the Secretary of State's race, which is a special election and is not the type of statewide election that tends to get a lot of attention from voters usually. So I think it'll be a fairly low-key voting period.
Challenging Republican Garrett Graves for Congress is 30-year-old Justin DeWitt. The political newcomer believes Congress should censure President Donald Trump for his performance against Russian President Putin in Helsinki.
It's very embarrassing when a president goes across to a foreign country and disagrees with his own intelligence and takes the word of a dictator over his own intelligence organizations. And I don't believe walking it back the next day is kind of even more disrespectful.
Graves took to Facebook to criticize Trump, saying he strongly disagrees with some of the remarks Trump made alongside Putin. You can register to vote online at govote.com. The deadline to do so is October 16th. Early voting begins October 23rd, with the election taking place November 6th. Runoffs, if necessary, are December 8th. Now, Julie Stokes, the Republican from Kenner and now cancer-free, qualified Thursday for Secretary of State. Republican Rick Edmonds also qualified as a candidate for that office. That was on Friday. Garrett Graves and Steve Scalise both qualified for their races on Friday. The Essence Festival, generally the first week in July, has become a staple for New Orleans tourism, with crowds in the hundreds of thousands pouring in. It's also become a voice for the roles of the African American woman, voices like mother and protector. The 24th Essence Fest just wrapped up in the Big Easy. Here's LPB contributor Robin Merrick with videographer-producer Vernado Woods with the story.
There's no question that Louisiana values its commitment to tourism and recreation. For years, New Orleans has been an attractive site for foreign and domestic visitors, and the Essence Festival has been a standing tradition for nearly 25 years. Entertainers, actors, and artists are more than willing to participate in the festivities.
The moment I heard that we were doing the Essence Festival, I was super excited just to be involved in something so big for the black culture.
And I want to do this more for you all. Next year, it gets better, and it gets better. So I'm truly grateful to Essence and everybody that's responsible for us being here.
Essence Festival, derived from Essence magazine, focuses on the black woman's experience through fashion, lifestyle, and beauty. Michelle Ebanks, president of Essence Communications, says this extraordinary gathering of nearly 500,000 attendees on the eve of the Essence Festival's 25th anniversary speaks to the unmatched convening power of our culture. The magazine's goal is the empowerment of African American women. So what is the role of the African American woman? Has the role changed? And are they considered the nurturer of men? Recording artist and actor Jussie Smollett gives credit to his Louisiana native mother.
It was right around the time that the conversation had started about my sexuality. And I remember calling my mom and just being like, why is it that people can't just let me just like live and just work and create? Why do I have to talk about anything? And my mother told me, she's like, son, you are a soldier for God's love, but a soldier never goes on the battlefield if he's not ready for war.
Recording artist Ashante says her mother means everything to her.
I love my mom so much, and we have such an amazing bond. You know, we're more like friends, and I would not be the person who I am. Just dealing in this male-dominated industry is crazy.
And I'll be here waiting for you to come home.
Mother and artist Marsha Ambrosius finds a way to balance her career and family.
I don't want to look like I'm wearing the superhero cape, like, oh, Marsha's doing music and she's being a mother at the same time. Like, that's not what every parent ever had to do. I'm just do what I do and love my kids and my husband.
Mixed with music and seminars, the Morial Convention Center becomes an oasis of empowerment explorations. Rasheem Fennessy, CEO and founder of Asaya's Liver Fund, explains why it was very important for her to participate in this year's Essence Festival.
A star named Asaya's Liver Fund is an organization that's founded and named after my daughter Asaya. She's a 10-year-old double liver transplant recipient. We decided to take her journey and make lemonade and educate the African American community and all communities of color about the importance of organ and tissue donation and transplantation.
And like Janet Jackson, MC Light gives her perspective on love and finding the right person.
Keep your ears open, hope that you're listening, because I'm about to take you on a Georgie Porgy mission.
You never know where that man might be for you, and you may even know him. And because he's a friend and he's so attentive, and he may not aesthetically look like what it is that you thought you'd want to be with, you need to look at his heart.
I don't care who you love, as long as he or she fills you up and never.
But the question still remains, what is the role of the black woman?
I think the role of the black woman historically has been kind of like the mammy, to take care of people without very little accolades or recognition. I think in post-Trump, we get a lot of chance to see like black women in particular stepping up. I think the Me Too movement brought out this voice that has been kind of rattling for decades. Unless you're really familiar with the feminist movement, unless you're familiar with civil rights in general, you weren't really aware of those stories. I think younger children especially it's really important that they see it because they know it's not okay.
Essence Festival is a good place to start, and I think if we just continue to build each other up, I mean, the possibilities are endless. So like, we're no longer in our grandparents' generation.
as for men,
stay encouraged, brothers. Do not lose focus. We're here to stand by our men, to lift them up, to let them know due times we're going to be there no matter what.
Let me clear my throat!
Coming out and supporting events like this is sending a message that the black women are here, we are a force to be reckoned with, we are to be recognized and respected. 'Cause I don't want to stay
around if I make you so miserable. Love yourself, be proud of who you are, respect yourself, demand respect, and keep dreaming and think big and think outside of the box, and you can do whatever you want to do, be whoever you want to be, just keep going.
Next year's festival, 2019, is scheduled from July 5th through the 7th in New Orleans, and it will be the 25th year of this event. Now let's talk about the Baton Rouge Irish Film Fest. It celebrates 10 years with this year's festival. It begins next week in the capital city. Among the films you'll see 2 Irish classics, 3 based on true stories, dramas, comedies, and a documentary. Along with the films, there is music, food, and dancing to complete the event. This preview produced by photographer Rex Q. Fortenberry. Monday, July 23rd, the festival begins at Phil Brady's Pub with the movie Rat.
No change has been reported in the condition of 53-year-old delivery man Hubert Flynn, who last night in his 3-bedroom home at St. Peter's Crescent, Kimmage, turned into a rat.
His wife and children don't know quite what to do with their rodent patriarch, but they start to like him better this way. Soon, the word gets around and makes Hubert a local celebrity.
This was the first movie that we ever showed, and it was so popular that we are returning and bringing it back again.
Friday, July 27th, the festival moves to the Manship Theater in downtown Baton Rouge for the We Irish Film Night.
So it's a night that we've devoted to just showing and highlighting and featuring Irish filmmakers through short films. You get to see shorts of all different kinds, all different genres, and see some of these great upcoming Irish filmmakers that are really just creating some really fun and great short film.
Saturday morning at 10 begins with a Disney classic brought back to the big screen.
We're going back to the Irish classics, and we've chosen Darby O'Gill and the Little People this year.
King Brian, me old boy, oh, I've got you at last, and I'm not going to let you go until you grant me the favour of 3 grand wishes. Granted.
And in case you don't know, Darby O'Gill is the one where we first see Sean Connery live and up front and on screen.
And singing.
I know, that's the part that I enjoy the best.
I love the ground she walks upon, my darling Irish girl.
If you've seen the film before, now you get to see it on the big screen and you get to relive that little part of your childhood.
Based on a true story, the movie Zoo follows 12-year-old Tom and his misfit friends as they fight to save Buster the baby elephant during the air raids on Belfast in World War II.
This is war, son.
We're looking for an elephant.
We are so dead. We're a team.
Let's finish what we started.
Based on the true story of the 1983 mass breakout of 38 IRA prisoners from the Maze High Security Prison in Northern Ireland, this film follows Larry Marley, the chief architect of the escape, as he schemes his way towards pulling off this feat by manipulating prison warder Gordon Close.
You like prison, do you?
You get used to it after 10 years.
Guard the fort.
Trusting me with it?
What are you going to swipe?
Don't move. Don't make a sign.
You know something? Out of all the warders, you picked me, didn't you?
This film was the #1 grossing Irish domestic release of 2017. Enigmatic and complex, Joe Heaney was one of the greats of traditional Irish sean-nós, or unaccompanied singing. Shaped by the myths, fables, and songs of his upbringing in the west of Ireland, his emergence as a gifted artist came at a personal cost. The film is a distinct portrait of Heaney's life and a marvelous exploration of music and song. The film was Ireland's official entry for Best Foreign Language Film at this year's Academy Awards.
Every year we try to bring either a documentary or something that really highlights what it means to be Irish and what it means to have that culture and the history of the people of Ireland.
And the neat thing about it is the photography of this particular movie is beautiful. It's the west of Ireland, it's the Connemara area. It is absolutely gorgeous, and it still does have the essence of old world Ireland.
The multi-award-winning film, The Drummer and the Keeper, is the story of an unlikely friendship between a 25-year-old rock and roll party animal with bipolar disorder who revels in rejecting society's rules, and a 17-year-old goalkeeper who suffers from Asperger's syndrome and yearns to fit in.
Look, it's not you, man. It's your mental health issue.
I don't have a mental health issue. I have Asperger's. You have a mental health issue.
It's a feel-good film. So
It really is. This shows the relationship that two people can form together and bond with each other because they have a common interest.
In Bradford, to the English guys I was a Paki, to the Paki guys I was an Indian, and to the Indian guys I was a Muslim. Here's as good a place not to belong as any.
Oh, have you two been smoking dope the whole time I was in there?
Maybe.
Partly based on true events, this warm-hearted comedy about Ireland's first halal meat factory tells the story of a young Muslim trying to find his place in the world of small-town Sligo. While managing a rundown abattoir, he stumbles through cultural chaos and generational conflicts, dealing with enraged fathers, stoned buddies, and his girlfriend's alleged ex-lover.
Do you think I should learn Arab? We're not Arabs, Martin. I bought the tapes and all.
The festival will take place Friday, July 27th and Saturday, July 28th in downtown Baton Rouge at the Manship Theater. The winner of this year's O'Callaghan Award for Best Audience Short will receive the prize personally from representatives of the festival at the Irish Film Fest Institute in Dublin, Ireland. And for more information and to go buy tickets, go to BRIrishFilmFestival.com. Well, there is a new show from Louisiana Public Broadcasting that we're producing for PBS, and you can only find it online. Nourish will teach you all about food, what food says about who we are, where we're from, and the ties that connect us, and the science behind it all. It's hosted by New Orleans-based, South Carolina-born rocket scientist Howard Conyers. Take a look.
I'm Dr. Howard Conyers. I'm a rocket scientist by day, but also in my spare time, I'm a South Carolina whole hog barbecue pitmaster. I love to eat and talk food, especially about the people, culture, and science behind what we eat from farm to table. I'm the host of Nourish, a new series from PBS Digital Studios and Louisiana Public Broadcasting. I will talk to the real experts about how food influences a region, particularly the American South where I'm from. My passion is barbecue, but I'm fascinated by traditional methods and innovative techniques people come up with for preparing delicious local dishes. We'll go looking for forgotten flavors, cooking tips, and food traditions that may not be around much longer if they aren't passed on. And we'll tackle some big debates about some of the best known Southern foods. Nourish, think of it as food for your mind, body, and soul. I will have new episodes every 2 weeks, so subscribe and follow me across the South.
All right, you can find Nourish online at youtube.com/PBS Nourish. There's a new episode, as you heard, every 2 weeks. You can already find Leah Chase talking gumbo, James Beard Award winner Rodney Scott talking barbecue sauce, and Conyers himself explaining his family's whole hog roasting tradition. That is Nourish. A study by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services finds almost 4% of American adults, or 9.3 million people, seriously contemplate suicide each year. Just under 45,000 people took their lives in 2016, and in Louisiana, one person dies every 12 hours from suicide. 16% are veterans. This month, Louisiana Public Square explores some possible causes and help that's available for people considering that path.
People don't commit cancer. They don't commit heart attacks. They die by cancer. They die by heart attack, or coronary event is the euphemism. They die by suicide. It's a cause of death. And that cause of death shouldn't erase their life, but it does. The stigma that is assigned to this cause of death has people then look at their family, loved ones, and friends with a crooked eye.
Veterans who attempt or die by suicide are experiencing some of the same stressors that anyone is. The top stressors are conflicts in their relationships and problems with finances and unemployment. And because veterans have particularly unique relationship challenges, and they have particularly unique challenges in getting employment following their military service, we think that may contribute to their risk as well.
Those that are struggling with thoughts of suicide many times can't ask for help. So it means that if we can educate enough people on what the warning signs are and what to do when they see someone exhibiting those signs, and then get them help, we can save lives, just as CPR saves lives.
Louisiana Public Square's episode Preventing Suicide airs Wednesday, July 25th at 7 p.m. on LPB. You can visit lpb.org/public square and find more information. And that is our show for this week. Remember, you can watch LPB on demand on your phone or tablet with our LPB Anywhere app. The download is free from your app store. You can catch LPB news and public affairs shows and other Louisiana programs that you've come to enjoy over the years. And please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For everyone at Louisiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Andre Morrow. Thanks so much for watching us. Until next time, that's the state we're in.
Support comes from
Entergy provides much more than power. We support science and engineering at local schools to build a brighter path to better jobs and help prepare the next generation. Because together, we power life. Entergy.
Additional support provided by the Fred B. and Ruth B. Ziegler Foundation and the Ziegler Art Museum located in Jennings City Hall. The museum focuses on emerging Louisiana artists and is an historical and cultural center for Southwest Louisiana. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, with support from viewers like you.